A very good morning to all of the students. Myself, Dr. Reetika Agarwal. I'm an associate professor in BBD University. And today, the topic of discussion with you is corporate social responsibility, which is a very important topic in the subject business ethics and human values. Now, let's start with the discussion, students. Before starting with the brief description, we'll start with the definition of CSR. Like you can see on the slide, CSR is a process by which an organization thinks about and involves its relationship with stakeholders for the common good and demonstrates its commitment in regard by adoption of appropriate business processes and strategies. Thus, CSR is not charity or mere donations. Students, CSR is a very important activity which has been seen by many and seen and adopted by many companies, modern organizations today. As you can see in the definition, that CSR is actually involving and signifying the relation of a company with their major stakeholders. The purpose of CSR is a sort of common commitment and demonstration of good in regard to adoption of business processes. CSR is a way of conducting business by which corporate entities contribute for the social good. Every company who is socially responsible team to be integrate economic, environmental, and social objectives with the company operations and growth. Let's continue with the definition part only. See, CSR is actually, if you are seeing on the slide, it's including, but it's not related with the project or programs which are related to the activities specified in the Schedule 7 of the CSR Act. That means it has specific programs or projects which are part of CSR Act. Projects or programs relating to activities undertaken by board of directors of the company in pursuance of the recommendation of the CSR committee of the board as declared by CSR policy of the company. Corporate social responsibility, students, there are a number of programs and there are a number of projects which are under a declaration of board of directors and which are adopted by the company in based on the recommendation of the CSR board. CSR policy, it relates to the activities undertaken by the company as specified in the Schedule 7. Schedule 7 is a very important act which is actually including all the activities which are undertaken for the CSR purpose. Now, what is the reason for undertaking CSR activities? Now, CSR activities, they are important and even expected by the public. They are socially monitored worldwide. CSR activities help organizations to hire and retain the people they want. CSR activities contribute to business performance. If you say CSR, students, is not directly related for business monetary performance or progress, but if you relate it, it is actually related for the social cause and it helps in boosting the brand image of the company. Now, if we talk about what is the next thing, the basic constituents of CSR activities. Now, there are some points which I've mentioned in the slide, which I have bulleted down. Basic constituents of CSR contribute towards a sustainable economic development, make desirable social changes, improvement of social environment towards business and society. See, CSR is actually the tool which is responsible for sustainable economic development and which is very imperative for the development of the companies. It also helps to make social changes in the terms of social causes. It also helps in the improvement of social environment because a company is surrounded by social environment, and as you know that the company is affected and gets effect with the society it belongs. Another thing is that CSR is also a part of the company because the company has their responsibility towards business and society both. Now we'll discuss about in the next slide that what are the CSR principles and major strategies. Like you can see, these are the various principles which are mentioned in the current slide. Respect for human rights, respect for differences of views, diversity and non-discrimination should be the guiding principle. Make some social contribution, enter into e-dialogue, self-realization and creativity, fair dealings and collaboration, feedback from the community, positive value added long term economic and social development. Now, let's discuss the synopsis of these points. Students, CSR is actually a human activity, or sorry, it's an activity which is based for social cause. So, first thing that it requires is respect for human rights. One should always keep in mind the differences of views because CSR activities, if I talk about in the terms of views and in terms of theories, the main postulates differ from theory to theory. Diversity and non-discrimination is also one of the guiding principle of CSR because CSR actually involves the principle of equity that the company should always make positive social contribution. One should enter into e-dialogue and self-realization creativity. There should be fair dealings and collaboration, the company with the society it belongs, and there should be feedback from the community. CSR activity, it is actually holding a very important place in adding positive value to the long-term economic and social development of the company. Now let's have a look on the best practices of CSR. These are some of the best practices of the CSR as you are seeing on the slide. To set a feasible, viable, and measurable goal, to build a long lasting relation with the community, to retain the community core values. The impact of the CSR need to be assessed, reporting the impact, and finally creating community awareness. See, if I talk about there are some guiding practices of CSR which should be kept in mind for every company before proceeding to adopt CSR. First of all, the company should set feasible, viable, and measurable goal, which is fairly recognized by the company. The company should focus on building a long lasting relation with the community and the society it belongs. The company should retain the community core values. The impact of the CSR should be assessed because till if the impact is not assessed, the company wouldn't be able to recognize the changes it is making on the society, the reporting the impact, and finally creating community awareness. Now, what is the need of CSR activity? Why it is required for the public, or why it is required for the society? We'll take some points. To reduce the social costs, to enhance the performance of the employees. It is a type of investment. It leads to industrial peace. It improves the public image. It can generate more profits. It improves to provide moral justifications. It satisfies the stakeholders and it helps to avoid government regulations and control. See, you can see that there's an area of activities or area of requirements or importance of CSR. Like we'll start, it helps to reduce the social cost. It helps in increasing the performance of employee because of the performance of the employees directly related to the performance of the company. The company views CSR as a type of investment which is always relating to a profit, and it always helps to lead a industrial peace. It helps to improve the public image of the company within the society. It helps to generate profits also. It gives a sense of moral justification and equity in regard to the society, and it satisfies the related stakeholders. It also helps to avoid government regulations and control. Now, in the last, we'll take the arguments. The arguments we'll take both including for CSR and against CSR. Like first, we'll discuss that what are the arguments which are in the favor of CSR. Corporate should have some moral and social obligations to undertake for the welfare of the society. Proper use of resources, capability, and competence. The expenditure on CSR is a sort of investment. Company can avoid many legal complications. It creates a better impression, and corporate should return a part of the wealth. See, it's always regarded that the company is a part of the society, and when the society is providing company, it shares a profit. It is a moral responsibility of the company to give something in return. So, if you talk about the arguments of CSR in the term of companies, the companies being a part of the society should always return their part of wealth, which will obviously help the company to create a positive image. Expenditure on CSR is not an expense in real sense, it's a type of investment. The resources and competence and capabilities are properly used. And as I told, that companies should have moral and social obligations to undertake for the welfare of the society. Now, at the end, we'll take some arguments against the CSR. What are that? Fundamental principles of business get violated. It is very expensive for the business houses. CSR projects will not be successful. They are not the special areas of business, and CSR is to induce them to steal away the shareholders' money. Some of the theorists, some of the business economists, they think that CSR activities in the terms of finance is not actually profitable because it is an expense for the business. And some of the people also think, some of the models also think that the fundamental principles of the business also gets violated in the adoption of CSR. It is termed like CSR projects in the long run are not very successful. It is deemed to be that CSR is actually not the specific area of any business. And finally, it is termed to be like CSR induced to steal away the shareholders' money, which is a part of shareholder. So in the present slide, I discussed the various constituents of CSR and the various arguments for and against the CR. Thank you so much. And this is my slide. This is my discussion. I hope you have understood the slides. Thank you so much.